Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are when this message reaches you. Just felt such an urge to come on and share some of the things I've been in contemplation with and where I am finding some resolution in the shifts in our economy, the shifts in our attachment and, I guess, vision around work and resources and where things are moving towards. A truth that I keep returning to in almost every situation where I'm observing our current capitalistic structures is that you cannot be in service of greed and service of God, Goddess, the universe, consciousness. It feels like it's both an ancient truth that we find all over spiritual texts, but it is really important that we start waking up to this realization as a collective. We exist in abundance, we exist in infinite capacity, but we've all been in this programming around scarcity of resources, scarcity of opportunities. It's in that urgency that we get most taken advantage of and where we give our power away, where we make concessions in our morality and our alignment and our frequency. So I'm not sharing this as like a moral judgment. I certainly am not a person who is in a position to judge anyone. I'm just sharing that there is a frequency and energetic mismatch between greed or scarcity mindset and the truth of abundance and consciousness, abundance in the present moment of now. Um, to be in creation, to be in service of creation, to be in service of the creator within or without is to be in service to life itself. So if you are in the habit, which many of us are, of orienting your life around control, feeling that you must control the flow of resources, around accumulation, which is essentially withholding resource flow, and is deeply connected to scarcity. A lot of the narratives we are fed kind of encourage us to withhold our gifts as well as our services without direct exchange for money, which I believe has robbed our social fabric of just very normal, beautiful communal ways of existing. But it also has robbed us of the trust um, in the co creation with the universe by limiting our ability to receive through like attaching ourselves to work structures that take from us or to paradigms we don't agree with. We are denying the truth that God, Goddess, the universe, consciousness, whatever you call the creator, is expansive. Concepts of greed and workaholism and addiction to work or money is contractive, it's restrictive, it eliminates the space for anything to grow without your control. And anyone who's experienced any level of even monetary success will be able to acknowledge that there's direct points in their lives where they surrendered and they allowed and they learned how to receive, how to be a tender to the wealth and abundance that they've accumulated, as well as a sharer of that same energy. Money is meant to move, it's the energetics of creation, it's meant to flow through us, um, and not ever to reduce the meaning or significance of our innate gifts and talents, which we are here to share. Many of us during the COVID times really, I think, shifting into the online world, began to really focus on monetizing our gifts, monetizing our talents, monetizing our passions, which I am not saying there's anything wrong with that. We all want to receive from the things that we are best at or the things that give us the most joy. The challenge is that we have somehow now restricted or confined our gifts to only being valuable if they make money or only being shared if it's through a monetary exchange. And that is not the design of abundance in the universe. That's not the design of abundance in your heart. And what you have to offer is actually being limited. If you only see it in its monetary value, you're not seeing it through the eyes of the universe, through the cosmic powers that flow through you and your gifts and that give you that gift of flow state. And so when you are acting out of an urgent place, out of a place of that contraction or scarcity mindset, that it feels like a contraction. It feels like an intensity and urgency. Bring breath into that moment. Challenge your assumptions about resources. Challenge your assumptions about how money works, how life works. Take some breaths, take a pause. Oftentimes, we create urgency, which continues to perpetuate our powerlessness and a victimhood mindset about our lives. Instead of just pausing, taking that pause, take a breath. You don't have to be reactive just because you are in a reactive state. You don't have to be reactive just because you're in a dynamic of reactivity. You can always choose to bring breath into that moment. And what you're doing when you choose to pause, to breathe, to create some space between that contraction, that scarcity, that controlling impulse and compulsion, is you're bringing God, Goddess, the universe, consciousness into the moment. And that moment becomes more expansive. The options become more expansive. You start to realize with another breath that perhaps the only route you see forward. Actually, there are many routes. Actually, there are many decisions. Actually, I still have power, even though this circumstance or this dynamic has brought me to a place I don't want to be in. I don't have to further contract because I don't feel in control. That actually pushes out any other beautiful, miraculous path from opening up before you because you're deciding you need to control this situation. And when you control, you contract even further, which limits the ability of other universal energies to flow through, limits your lens to seeing only one micro path forward instead of seeing maybe help, support, and other resources that are abundant in your life that are available to you in that moment. And if you just pause, breathe, sit with the discomfort of being out of control, of being triggered in a scarcity mindset, then you open up the invitation for either other energies working through other people, working through nature, working through other circumstances to then find you. We cannot always control the outcome, but what we can do is get right with our intention and the energy we bring into situations and dynamics. And so, if you're working out of a place of scarcity, it doesn't matter how much money you accumulate, you will be working out of a place of greed, essentially, and you'll never have enough. Greedy people in that mindset of scarcity, they never have enough security, they never have enough resources, and yet they continue to withhold their gifts and their energy and their money from the world, which creates a poverty experience, which creates a withholding of resources, a neglect of population, an excuse to treat people as less than human because you have those resources to do so. We should stop allowing ourselves to be, honestly, minimized and contracted by money. It diminishes your value if you believe that your only value is in that resource bank. And if you're only working to accumulate monetary wealth, you are going to end up very poor in spirit, very poor in connection to life and your creativity and people and relationships. There's so much more to our abundance than the money in your bank account. And when you become fixated or in that undermining energy of contraction and control, you are again losing sight and awareness of your connection to all life, your sight and awareness of your connection to Creator, and a reminder that you are the inventor of your life, that you actually have a lot of power if you can regulate, take a deep breath, and learn how to receive rather than control. So when I say greed, God, Goddess, they can't exist in the same space, it's because it truly cannot. You are the inventor of your life. You are the grower of what is nurtured in your experience. You are a participant in something far more intelligent, collaborative, and co creative than any individual system or service that you can create out of yourself. What I'm asking you to do is consider the ways that greed or scarcity mindset is having you outsource your power, that is re triggering you into further scarcity mindset, into feeling more shame and blame around your monetary resources. When you stop reaching so far out of yourself to control your circumstances and you really root into the core of who you are, to the breath, to the present moment, you renegotiate your relationship to your resources, to your life, to the present moment. Again, that shift is massive and will then allow you to receive in ways that are so creative, to have paths come and flow to you in ways that you couldn't even imagine because you've limited your way of receiving through the means in which you can control. But as you release and surrender to the flow of life and begin to co create with it and to listen to all the subtle harmonic energies available to you, even in crisis, you can begin to dance with, to appreciate, to experience your abundance and wealth from a place of gratitude rather than entitlement, a place of appreciation and reciprocity rather than a place of taking and withholding. And you get to live more in alignment with that consciousness that honestly knows better, that honestly feels at odds with the scarcity mindset, that part of you that knows there's more to life, that part of you that knows there's more than the 9 to 5, that there's more to what you want to experience and isn't quite adhering or cooperating with that over functioning ego that's telling you you don't have enough, to work way harder than you need to compromise your values so that you can survive. No, all of those things are just dissonant energies that, um, again, cannot coexist with the truth that we are loved unconditionally, supported unconditionally, that there is a current of life that is reaching for us as we reach for it. And it is in the dissonance that we've created as humanity that we experience lack, a withholding, a scarcity, because we are turning away from that very force that wants to support us. And it's saying, okay, you want to be in control. Here's more control. Here's more control. Here's more control. But control blocks blessings. Control, it limits your experience, it inflates the ego, and puts you into a place of shame and blame and reactivity more and more and more. And if you are feeling the call for peace, for joy, for fulfillment, for community, for unconditional love, loosen your grip on this mindset. Take a deep breath in those triggered states. Invite the forces of the universe in and see how they will meet you. If you decide to receive, if you decide your life and your soul is worthy of this sort of love and abundance that you truly already are. Yeah, so I just wanted to share some thoughts today and went live, and thank you for anyone who joined. I hope that this message and consideration finds you in the perfect time. Sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you for being you. Keep opening your mind and heart with a curious and tender nature. Take a moment just to look around you and find two or three blessings just in your eyesight as we close this rant conversation, this one sided conversation with Grace and God. I'm appreciative of the trees and the birds that are in them looking at me. I'm appreciative of clean drinking water that I have access to with so much ease and affordability. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with people who are exploring the themes of humanity, of life, of consciousness with me, and who have guided me along the way with their knowledge, wisdom, questioning, curiosity, and authenticity. I thank you and I love you.